movie fans, welcome to Cold and Trash Horror Movie Grind the Podcast. I am your host, Ian. This is the show in which we grind on the absolute worst horror and sci-fi movies we can find and make fun of just how bad they are, as well as praise the good, cool classics that have been lost throughout time. Now get ready, because we're about to dive real deep inside of Hollywood's dumpster in search of the good, the so bad it's good, and the fucking ugly. Now put on your seatbelt, grab a beer or two, and enjoy the show. All right, eXistenZ from 1999. This is a personal favorite of mine. I've loved this movie ever since I first saw it, ever since it first came out. Well, about a year or two. Basically, I was like 13, 14 when I first saw this movie in like the year 2000, 2001, something like that. But yeah, man, it was really cool. So you got the Matrix, you got Dark City, 13th Floor, Truman Show, and eXistenZ. All these movies contributed to my existential angst, the awakening of me just wondering, is this a simulation? Is this real? Are we still in a game? What is going on? And yeah, so this movie, you can say, it's safe to say it shaped my childhood, my life. Um, yeah, it came out in 1999, or just a couple months after The Matrix did. Unfortunately, it didn't do as well as The Matrix. It bombed terribly. Although the tagline is "makes The Matrix look like child's play," and we'll probably get into that a little later on. This is directed by David Cronenberg. Funny enough, the first Cronenberg movie we've done on this show. We'll probably get to others, namely Videodrome, probably. But yeah, this is the first one we're doing by Cronenberg. It's got Jude Law in it, Jennifer Jason Leigh, who I think is a very underrated actress. Ian Holm is in it, and Willem Dafoe, and a couple others. It's got 6.8 stars on IMDb. That's about fair, I'd say. But the thing is, I'd love to talk about this movie, but I can't really do it alone because that would be boring. So I need to bring in some friends. So Daniel, are you friendly or are you not?
Death of the Demon, Ian Webb. Great to see you. I am probably friendly, but you're going to have to wait till the climax to actually find out if anybody is friendly. Let's be honest.
Daniel, are you friendly or are you not?
Yes, Ian Webb. I am friendly.
Oh, okay, good, awesome. Yeah. So, what was your introduction to this movie?
Honestly, it's been so long now that I do not remember. I have vague memories hearing about it when I was in high school, which I don't think quite lines up with the timeline, so I'm not sure exactly about it, but I believe we caught portions of it on the Sci-Fi Network back in the day. And
I can see that.
without seeing the whole movie, catching portions of this is off-putting and potentially upsetting, depending on what type of person you are. So when you see just like gross infected bioports or mutilated lizards, you don't know what you're actually watching.
I've shown this movie to so many people, and usually when they see all of that stuff, just all of it, they're like, "Whoa!" Like gross.
Oh yeah.
It's either like it grosses them out, freaks them out, or it's like what's up with all these sexual innuendos?
Oh yeah. The tension is high throughout the whole movie. It's a
Right.
slow burn movie, but not the sexual tension. That just starts at a breaking point.
That's just Cronenberg being Cronenberg.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get into a little bit more of that. What did you enjoy it?
Absolutely. This is one of my favorite movies. I
Right on.
own 2 copies of it on DVD, though I no longer have a DVD player. I'm not giving them up. I've given it as a gift to multiple people. I've watched it countless times. I really like this
Right
one.
on. Yeah. Sweet. All right. Awesome, man. So I've got a few other guests, so I'll bring them in. The next two guests, they're back from last week when we did Spider-Man Night. We've got the host of I Don't Give a Flick podcast coming back, and the host of Jacob and Reese versus Evil, Johnny Blackbird and Jacob Johnson. Welcome back to the show.
What's up?
Thank you for
paused.
Yeah, it's yes, pause existence.
Okay. All right, we're back. Well,
that wasn't a pause; it was a stop.
Only my desk turned into
Wait, everybody freeze on 3. 1, 2, 3. Existence is paused. And we're back. And we're back. And we're back, Jude Law. Thank you so much. I can't believe Jacob made me watch this fucking film.
Yeah, it was my fault.
Well, Jacob's
It was
fault.
definitely my fault.
I know. That's why I said I can't believe Jacob made me watch this fucking film.
It wasn't my fault.
It wasn't.
What reality are we in?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
It's funny you asked that because we're still in the intro.
Oh shit!
Damn. Damn.
So yeah, this is called Trash Horror Movie Grind. Thanks everybody for watching.
Cool. All right.
So I would ask both of you same question that I did Daniel, but I know the answer to that question when you first saw it because that was last night when both of y'all came over to my house and we watched it together. Except Jacob, it was your second time.
Jacob.
You just watched
so
it.
You lied, Ian.
The night before. But it's within the past week. Would that be fair to say?
Fair enough. I'm going to answer for Jacob because
he totally did not.
So.
Yeah. All right,
Sorry,
Jacob.
I thought you were talking to Johnny first. Oh yeah,
Jacob. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. So this is my first time seeing this movie. I only just saw it this last week. I mean, I've seen this box art specifically like everywhere, including that whole Matrix quote and everything, but I never actually saw the movie. Knew it was Cronenberg. I knew I needed to watch it at some point, being a Cronenberg fan. But just never came across. It was also just never on streaming anywhere until I actually looked it up to actually like go out and find it, and it's right there on Pluto TV or whatever.
It used to be on Netflix actually, several years ago, like a decade ago. Yeah,
several years ago, a decade, maybe 10 years, could be 20.
Maybe 50 years ago.
Could have been 2 months. Yeah.
I was just counting, but
Netflix was just a flesh pod, right?
Right. The reason why I brought y'all here today is because Johnny's podcast, I Don't Give a Flick, Jacob, you and I have both been reoccurring contributors on there many times, and a few of those times we have mentioned Cronenberg, and so I was thinking since I'm actually getting to do a Cronenberg, might as well bring y'all on it, and yes, so I did.
Well played. Here. Well done. Well, here we are.
Yeah. So, what did you guys think of it?
Johnny, go first.
Well, you know me. I'm gonna probably be the harshest critic you have ever come on.
Probably.
So
yeah, you're like a roll the dice.
Let's just.
It's like he'll like it or he won't.
Let's just tear it apart.
Know.
Yeah, let's start at the first frame of the movie. Okay.
Well,
frame by frame. I'm kidding.
I still have another guest to bring on.
It was
4 hours.
All right. It was. I mean, it was solid. You know. I mean, it was a solid film. I mean, I'll go into what I loved and didn't love when we get into it here later in that segment. But it was interesting seeing a Cronenberg movie that combined a bit of the body horror element and then combined a little bit of the psych thriller, which you kind of see in Eastern Promises and A History of Violence, which a lot of people did not. And I didn't know that he had done that until, probably a year ago when Jacob had been on my show, brought up The Fly, started talking about Cronenberg. I was like, who the hell's Cronenberg? And so I was looking him up, and then I watched The Fly, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty fucking good. And so I was like looking up his IMDb, saw that he had an affinity for Viggo Mortensen, I guess, and
lately
it still does.
Yeah,
his upcoming movie coming out will have him in it.
Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's Yeah, Viggo Mortensen is like the Leonardo DiCaprio and or Robert De Niro to
Scorsese.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it was solid. It was solid. It was nice to see. I like it when directors kind of reach out and do a good like a mixture of subgenres or genres.
Yeah.
You know, try to expand
definitely
themselves.
that's definitely this movie for sure.
Yeah.
Jacob, how about you?
Yeah, I hate to agree with Johnny, but I'm kind of in the same boat. It's solid. It's a solid movie. A little squishy, but it's there.
I'll agree with that.
But no, I really did enjoy this, especially thinking back to sort of the time of 1999, where it's like you got the Matrix, which is so special effects heavy, martial arts. It's like it's action, it's in your face. While this is actually way more subdued, especially for a Cronenberg movie, like Johnny was saying, it's way more like dramatic and more like dialogue driven than just like here's like some sick ass gore and stuff like that. It's like the gore is there, but it's like it's very subtle and just not
Right.
plays a huge part until and yeah, it's kind of cool because basically this and the Matrix have a lot of the same plots and ideas, but Matrix kind of goes balls to the wall, while this one just kind of takes its time and kind of lets you sort of like live in the world of eXistenZ and like makes you keep questioning which reality is which and who's actually a good guy, who's a bad guy. And then, all the sexual metaphors, all the like disease metaphors, all the stuff that Cronenberg loves to do is all there. But yeah, I just think it's pretty solid.
Awesome. Yeah. I agree with all that. And I too, I like it's obviously not a perfect movie. There's some things missing. I just wish like my big issue with this is that it just makes me want more. Really, it's like it's like a taste of this world that I'm just like unfulfilled. But
I would say like maybe one detriment is like it feels very 90s. Like when I watch The Matrix today, it doesn't feel 90s. It feels kind of almost timeless, while this just has a very 90s feel.
Yeah,
I wish I agreed with you, Jacob, but the last time I watched The Matrix, I was rolling my eyes so hard. Like, just even the opening scenes.
Oh, so good. So good.
Awesome. Well, let me we'll get back to all that in a bit. I still have one more guest to join, and she's definitely no stranger to the show. She's probably been in more episodes than all of y'all have been in. Johnny and Daniel, you've been on, but quite a lot. And so she is, like I said, a recurring contributor to this show, but she also has a new show on Infamous Horror called "This Is Where You Die." Bree, welcome back to the show.
Hello, so glad to be back.
Yeah, welcome back. So like I said, you are now officially in the Infamous Horror family. This is
I
where you
am. I am.
Yeah, last time you were on, we talked about it. It's the video game show where you play horror games and just talk while you do it. But now you actually have a few episodes out. By the time this episode comes out, you might have about 3 or 4 out. But by that time, maybe 3, something like. Well, who knows? Those watching it, just look up "This Is Where You Die." You'll find out.
Yes, for sure. You can't go wrong.
Right. How's it going for you? Having your own show.
I will say that it's a lot more busier than occasionally being in a guest spot. I will admit, as opposed to hey, show up, answer these prompts. Now it's like, oh shit, I actually have to put in some real effort. Oh my god.
Gotta create it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm enjoying it. I'm having a blast. I'm getting to do 2 things that I love. Enjoying the horror genre and playing video games. So it's a win-win for me.
Nice. Cool. That's awesome. You're having fun. What games do you look forward to covering in the future?
Ooh. All right. Well, I mean, I've already kind of spoiled it a little bit with our Bigfoot episode. However, we got a Phasmophobia coming up, which essentially you are a ghost hunter looking for evidence of what kind of ghost is haunting this specific place. But instead of, ghost hunters where, you just leave at the end of the night, the ghost can kill you. And honestly, it's horrifying. So I think I'm going to be doing a 2-parter episode where not just myself, but my guests will be talking about this game, but also sharing our own personal ghost stories as we
Nice.
get murdered by these ghosts. So I'll be having quite a few episodes on this just to, talk to everybody, get their stories, as well as I've got another indie game called Labyrinth that starts off pretty innocuous. You are just a person working at a theme park. However, as you go deeper into the maze, things start to take a more gruesome turn. So that is my current plans for
Well, that's ominous.
upcoming episodes.
All
Yeah.
right. Cool. Yeah. It seems to be a pretty awesome show. Like I saw your first 2 episodes, that they were definitely pretty cool. So yeah, I definitely wish the best of luck with you on that.
Thank you.
Now, this show about video games and the horror genre, that actually made me want to cover this movie for this episode on Call and Trash
Perfect segue.
eXistenZ. Yeah, exactly. That's what I like to do. Yeah. So basically, this is a movie. eXistenZ is about future of virtual reality video gaming. So I was like, yeah, that would be perfect to bridge the 2 shows. So let me ask you, Bree. Have you seen this movie before? And what's your initial thoughts on it?
I think there's a glitch in the Matrix in the fact that I saw this last night, and instead of Johnny being the one to be critical, I'm the one that's actually super critical.
Trouble in
Yeah.
paradise.
I don't think you've ever disliked a movie we've done before.
I know.
I don't think
Usually
we have
I'm like either like I kind of like this or I love it. But this time I'm like
Oh shit.
I didn't like this.
Well, in that case, death to the demoness Bree.
Death to the demoness Bree.
Well, anyway, that now is up to us guys. No, Bree. So yeah, that's a good question. What did you dislike about it?
I don't want to spoil anything, and we'll definitely talk about it in the episode, but I think it's the fact that I just saw it for the first time tonight, and because I play video games and I'm so used to twists and turns and things like that, it was kind of like I'm so used to the trope of like, okay, you're a double agent and you're a double agent, but this double agent is also this double agent.
That's definitely what happens.
Yeah,
Everybody's a double agent.
I think, I'm just so bored of that trope. And so I think I just didn't find it entertaining, and I was kind of slightly bored. So, but we'll talk more about it in the episode for sure.
Fine. I forgive you.
Thank you.
Not that
Okay to be wrong.
I don't forgive her on this case. I'm sorry.
All right.
It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, what was I was going to ask you another question. Oh yeah. So actually, going back to your show. So you play games on your show. Since this is about virtual reality, would you ever do virtual reality on your show, like Oculus or something like that?
As of right now, no, but that's just because I'm poor and I can't afford a VR headset. Realistically speaking.
That's fair.
Also, I think the part of the fun for the show of me is I'm really bad at horror games. I scare easily.
Well, that would be
I'm
awesome.
a huge weenie.
That would be awesome. Just have you just look around and just like.
Yes. I've heard like phasmophobia in particular is terrifying in VR. My sister, who is my co-host, is way better at me. So I think it would be fun. I think it'd be fun in VR if I could afford it and if I ever got the guts to do it. But I am admittedly a huge weenie when it comes to horror games. But that's something I will explore in the future for sure.
Because there's also a lot of good like zombie killing games in there too.
Yes, there's also like a game where like you are like running like a kind of like a taco stand, but you're serving zombies.
I don't know that one.
It's something.
That's cool.
I'll have to like find the name for it, but the issue is like it's a single player, and my focus is multiplayer horror games. But it's definitely something.
Oh, okay.
Maybe if they
Gotcha.
patch in multiplayer horror games, then I guess I'll be running my
There
own
are
brain
definitely a
taco
couple.
stand.
But yeah, cool. So we'll talk about that later on, I guess, as time develops. But because I have an Oculus and I have a couple of horror games that I like, I'd love to stream with you and whatnot.
Oh fuck yeah, let's get into it.
Hell yeah! Well, for now, let's get into eXistenZ, and specifically, here's the trailer.
There's an intimacy involved in playing eXistenZ that is beyond description.
In the not too distant future.
Okay, now I feel the 90s.
The ultimate
Possibilities are so great.
Not too distant. It's the
Parallel
distant future, but
universe
not.
code.
Don't worry, it's not too distant.
But it's the 90s future, not today's future.
Right.
Very important.
It's going
This
to be a wild
trailer
ride.
is terrible.
Yeah.
It is an awful trailer. This
It
doesn't
gives
tell
you
me
nothing.
anything. Yeah, it's not prefacing anything to do with the upcoming
It
script.
unleashes your wildest
Like, I don't-
urges.
This is one of the worst. This is not the movie. Or what
Yeah, what is
happens
this
in
movie
it.
about? What? Oh god, is this like the room porn?
Do it. It's just a game.
It's like licking her nub
Cleanse the first
Something about a game.
and a bone gun and a guy burning
Feeling
alive
realer than real.
and someone
and
wants it stopped
a glowing
at all
pancreas.
costs.
People looking
$5
obviously.
million for a dead body. Step into my office.
I can't remember the last time that I saw a trailer that did so much injustice to a movie and left me more like this is not a movie that I've seen.
Oh yeah, now you gotta have the techno in there.
Something's wrong. Oh God. What happened? Just come back here with us.
I think we're still inside the game.
Stuck now, aren't you?
Is that like Ministry playing in the background? Some industrial metal. Yeah, so no wonder this movie just failed the box office horribly. People
Yeah.
saw that trailer, they were like, fuck that.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch that. That looks terrible. Is that the movie that you watched, Bree? This is why we're having some trouble with the.
I
You probably-
just watched the trailer. I came into this room, and here I am to talk shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you. I would not. blame you.
No, that seems reasonable to me.
Okay. So, yeah. So the movie is definitely better than the trailer. So says 4 of us.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Okay. Well. Anyway, let's get into the plot. So who can say what the plot is to this in 1 minute? I mean, not 1 minute. 1 sentence. Anybody?
I got it. This is a physical form of a oh shoot, I just lost the word of it. Psychology 101 or philosophy 101 class discussing the difference between existentialism and transcendentalism. Put to
Okay.
hip 90s bullshit.
Okay. So this is the first future of virtual reality video gaming. Basically. Yeah, so like this is like pretty much this is especially in the 90s how people envision virtual reality to be like. Would you all agree like that it's kind of like ahead of its time, but at the same time kind of like what everybody kind of figured like the future would be like?
I thought it was a movie about a male partner accepting being pegged. Isn't that what it's about?
That
Just getting
that
him
is
comfortable, getting him used to the idea of it.
Jude Law's famous quote from this movie. I have a fear of my body being penetrated.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's about relationships. It's about trying new things, you damn prudes.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that and a lot of sexual innuendo. I don't even know where to start, really. But yeah, so this is the future of virtual reality gaming, like I was saying. So it's like this is actually, I would love this if this was real. If we lived in this world and you just like plug into this game and you're just in another world that's like realer than real, you know, and you could just pretty much do anything, and then you go on like quests, and then you have like contacts people and your double agents and stuff like that. Which I have to agree with or disagree with Bree. Actually, like I loved all the double agents and all that stuff. Like so, you know they plug in and they're like, you meet this guy over here, and then he'll put you on your quest, and then they kill the Chinese waiter. But it turns out he was a double agent. He was on your side, but it turns out you were the double agent all along. And like that's so cool. Like I mean, I understand like that is overkill for you. Like you've done that a lot, and so it's an old trope. But for 1999, is it?
That was a different trope back then. So I think that, again, I kind of addressed that. That's my issue now, is because the fact I watched it last night, I've already been introduced to that trope. But I'm sure in 1999, that was revolutionary. That was something new. So
Yeah. What did Bree? What did you think about the whole thing about like this? So not only is it virtual reality, but it's this organic creature that you plug into your spine, and then you pretty much hallucinate whatever is just like the game goes by like your thoughts, basically, is what you're
that, okay, that I did like, because don't get me wrong, I do like Cronenberg, and that is right in Cronenberg's weird ass alley. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
that part. It's just I like the body horror. That's why I like Cronenberg. I like The Fly. I like Videodrone. You mentioned we're going to be bringing up Videodrone a lot. You know, I like those sort of things. I like the body horror. I like how it's not just, hey, plug into this machine. Like, this is a part of you. You know, this is
Yeah.
your
Well,
thoughts, your
it's
feelings,
not
what
only
you want to
that.
do.
It's another entire other being. And then
Exactly.
you need another person, so it's like this weird like 3-way thing.
Exactly.
Or
Well, you got to have the sexual innuendo. It's Cronenberg after all.
yeah,
For sure.
exactly.
Is that where Guillermo del Toro got the idea for Pacific Rim? You have to have two pilots for him to power up a giant mech.
Maybe I wouldn't be
Ooh, yeah.
surprised. I feel like a lot of people just kind of were very, you know, they use this movie as inspiration for their
Absolutely.
movies,
Oh, yeah.
especially. I'm just gonna put it out there. Inception is 100% a ripoff of this movie.
Ready Player One, absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, the book Ready Player One, not so much, but the movie definitely. I'm definitely one of those like the book is better people for that movie.
They're both terrible.
Johnny, how about you? You said you were real. You had like, or you were feeling mixed feelings about this.
No, I mean, I had mixed feelings going in. I mean, when you showed the trailer last week, and I saw Jude Law and Jennifer Jason Leigh sitting there, I was like, okay, cool. Like these are both relatively decent actors. It's probably got a good budget. The script can't be awful, so that'll be cool. And then I saw a guy get shot in the cheek with a tooth, and I thought to myself, wow, this is probably actually going to be way more awesome than I thought. So my mixed feelings were already there walking in. And they're still there after viewing it. Yeah, and they're still there after viewing it for a myriad of reasons. Biggest thing being, I I don't want to go into that right now. Yes, I have mixed feelings right now.
Okay.
I will go into it when we review the movie.
Well, we are in fact reviewing the movie, or are we? Turns out we're actually
That's the
still
question.
in the intro.
Well, when you specifically ask me what did I not like about it, then I'll answer that.
Yeah, it turns out we're still in the intro, so let's play that trailer.
Oh God!
God damn it!
You can't
Happen
do that to
again.
me.
I want to
Wait,
put
I
it
am.
out there. That's
Existence
exactly what the
is
movie felt like.
paused.
Yeah. How do y'all feel about this on the nose name, the title of this movie? Existence.
I liked it.
Existence.
I mean, yeah, it's
I-
like something a corporate company like any other.
absolutely.
Activision would do.
I don't feel it's
It's some
very
John
original.
Romero Doom shit.
Yeah, it's not a very clever name. But
it
does
is.
They
Man.
rip on
Capital
their own
X,
name
capital
during
Z,
the whole
bro.
movie.
Capital
Yeah,
X,
it's
capital
fine.
Z.
They
Yeah,
literally rip
it's
into
fine.
that movie's name 4 times inside of the movie with other things. They've got Transcendence.
Yeah.
They've got
that.
Art God, and they've got
I don't remember.
where is it here? The name of the company that owns all of it.
Pilgrim.
Antenna.
Pilgrimage.
Oh, Pilgrim.
Yeah, Pilgrimage. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a different question for you guys. Just as one of those things as I hear you guys talking about the things you didn't like about it, would you like this if it was a video game?
Ooh.
Because to me, that it's done perfectly as
100%.
a video game movie.
Yeah.
Without being based off of a video game, it has every element that you'd want. Your NPCs are perfect. Your player characters are perfect. The repetition is perfect. There's all of it screams and shoves video game down your throat the whole time.
Oh yeah, like all the glitchy NPCs and like the dialogue options and stuff. And it's like, oh, if I leave this NPC in the middle of a dialogue option, they'll stop. But then whenever I come back, they'll restart everything, just like a Fallout or Skyrim or any of those. No, I'd be terrified. No, it's basically like any other game today. Because like when I was watching this through a modern lens, it's like we've played so many like betrayal type board games. I feel like not so much. And like Among Us was huge during the pandemic, right? And so it's like I've gotten used to the point of all these betrayal games, but to have one that you sort of assimilate a whole new character and you gain like memories and stuff, that would be a mind fuckery for sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, mess up your life permanently.
This game definitely would do that. It's like, I mean, let's just jump to the end where they're like about to murder the guy, and he's like, "Wait, are we still in the game or not?" I don't know.
That's a great ending line for it. And I feel like that would be one of your bad ends. Like if you screwed up the whole thing and you end up exiting the game, but you haven't accomplished your goals, and you turn out that you're the bad guy in all of it, and you're like gonna go kill a person, and now you don't even know if you're done. Like that's a bad end. You made bad decisions. And I do feel like the whole movie was built along the lines of they went down some right paths, but they made enough bad decisions that they got the bad ending. And I appreciate that a lot in it. When I evaluate this as a video game movie as opposed to a movie, I get a whole different vibe off of it than a lot of what you guys are talking about. Like, it's rough for a movie, but it does such a great job communicating to you like a script for a video game and like how off kilter it can get.
Actually, I'm gonna agree with you and actually support your thought there with like how they say, okay, to get an illegal bioport installed at midnight, we just go to your country gas station, and they go to the country gas station.
Country gas station later.
And then like they're like, well, go to the Chinese restaurant, and it's Chinese restaurant.
Chinese restaurant, yeah.
With Chinese workers.
Chinese waiter is the name of the character.
And that's so video game.
Absolutely.
Like you go to like I can see myself playing a video game and I'm like going to the big country gas station, which we don't know at the time this is the video game. But like there's also a bunch of like hints and clues like Jennifer Jason Leigh's character, like Geller, she's like walking around, just like feeling the air and touching things.
Being a total weirdo, yeah. I definitely have that in my notes too. Her reaction to it is your very first clue that you're in the video game already. Just like with her acting like a weirdo. Like,
right. And then you see the two-headed mutated amphibian thing.
Sign of the times.
I also saw a fun comment somebody had mentioned on a YouTube video I watched about it, where her hair changes every single time which reality she's in too. So
so how do y'all feel about the whole game within a game within a game, which, like I said, is very Inception-like, but much earlier than Inception?
I mean, this would be technically considered the OG, right? I mean,
I think
did
so.
it start films like that? Like, I've never seen prior to this. I'd never seen anything like that.
Total Recall kind of did it, but not to this extent.
I guess.
Because he's like, taking on a whole new identity. And at the end, it's just like, what if this is all a dream? Then let's not look it up or whatever.
I mean,
that is true.
Yeah, they minorly touched on it. I mean, this one completely, the entire storyline was based around that philosophy, not just a part of it. But I see what you mean. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. Yeah, Total Recall for sure. Yeah, that is. It's to a much lesser extent, but it's still the whole like, is this real? Is this not?
Yeah. Because you had seen different things over the history of cinema where they do like alternate realities as far as time travel goes. That's pretty common. I mean, that's been going on for a long time. But yeah, this was new. I mean, it's definitely I'm sure it was an original idea, just like the Blair Witch Project was, back in the late 90s. It seemed revolutionary at the time, and now we've seen so many of them done that it just seeing this for the first time, and if it's the original, it probably would have had more of an impact on me had I seen this initially before watching Inception or The Matrix or whatever else.
Mm-hmm. Sure, I agree with that.
Yep.
Okay. How about the ending? Like, I mean, I briefly went over it, but how do you all feel about the vague ending? Like, is it still are they still in the game or not? And then it just ends on that.
Love it. I love Cronenberg ambiguous endings.
Yeah, like sometimes you could say like that's just like that's cheap, like, but. I mean, some movies that it's just like, okay, that's just a dumb way of doing it. But like this, also like Total Recall is a good like ambiguous ending where it's like either way, I'm happy with. It's like either this is still in the game and they're just on a certain level, as like it makes you think like there's just levels upon levels where they're just like they have to pretty much. There's one side against the other, and somebody has to win, and then they go to a next level, and they don't know who's who. Or this is real life, and they're just like, we need to destroy these people who are pretty much destroying human life as we know it with their virtual reality. What they say is that it's causing a problem for humanity. So it's like either way works.
Yeah. I want to bring up this is the third ending actually, because we have two other endings in our big Inception there. We have the first game ending in which one of your main characters dies, the one that you're supposed to be protecting. You're the bodyguard and you're supposed to be protecting this girl.
You're talking about within eXistenZ.
Yes.
Right?
And then he cuts that cord and she bleeds out and he can't stop the bleeding. She's infected and bleeding and dies. Mm-hmm. Then the second ending is in what they believe is originally the reality, which gets really bonkers, where all of a sudden a whole bunch of troops show up that are people from inside the game. And Allegra Geller goes ahead and just shoots the innkeeper that was. I mean, Peichel loses his mind. He's like, "You just killed a person. Like, I didn't like the way he was acting. He was fucking with me. I don't like it. Like, how do you know that this is the game? Like, it's the game. I don't know. Feels like a game." This guy was acting like an NPC. I don't like it. And so she lost that game, or she won that game. It's hard to tell. And then they go out, and then you're possibly still in another game at the third ending that you're discussing. So yeah, I really like that arc at the end. Like, we're gonna just shove it in here that we have no clue when the game ends.
Yeah.
So we don't. This is why you have a non-ending.
And it's like no matter who wins or loses, it's still like a grim ending. So pretty much we all lose basically. There are
also
no
the
winners.
absurdity of it, like it's kind of comical how it's just like, oh no, they betrayed me here. No, they betrayed me here. Oh, this is a different reality. This is the other reality. It's like you get to the point where it's like you're exhausted enough where it's just like, okay, let's have fun with it. I don't know which reality you're in, but let's fucking get there.
I still hate it.
All right, Bree, what other than what you said, why do you hate it? Like you use that word hate, which is so strong.
I do. I don't use it. So the reason I say it is, you all are praising this ending. I'm sorry to play devil's advocate. You all are praising this ending. What is real, what is not. Talking about cliffhanger endings. I love a good cliffhanger, right? And one of the movies where it's left on a cliffhanger that I actually really love is Blade Runner. Is Harrison Ford an android or not? Like, that's done really well because you're rooting for a certain side each time. And Ian, at the very beginning, you brought up, I want more of this movie,
Yes.
And the thing is, because there's no real context about what each side really means, I can't root for anybody. I can't root for Android. I can't root, or Antenna. I can't root for the other party. I can't root for the, reality resistance. I don't know enough about anybody to be like, I'm totally invested in these people. Blade Runner, I'm fucking invested. I want to know, is he an android or not? But I think if Cronenberg explored this more, fleshed out each side more, I would be more invested. I want to know more, things like that. And I just didn't get it from this movie. As he keeps adding layer, is this a game? Is this a game? Is this a game? I don't fucking care. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's very fair. That's fair.
So, I think if there was more, like you said, I would be more invested, but it just feels like a very surface level trying to go for plot twists, things like that, and I'm just I can't get into it.
Yeah, that's fair. Because you're absolutely right. It's like, I guess you don't really care enough about the characters. My thing is that like you don't really need to. It's just it's more about like the potential for me that I like. It's like I love how the idea that there is a game developer, a company that's so good that there is an entire terrorist organization that feels the need to kill her to stop what she is doing to society.
That's fair.
And there's a fatwa against it, which what this movie was actually inspired by an actual fatwa. I forgot what the guy's name is. An author who wrote a book. I think it's called the something satanic thing, the satanic passages or something like that.
LaVey something, I think.
And all these different religious organizations like wanted to kill him for it, and so that inspired Cronenberg to make this movie. And it's cool. I love how she's on the run for her life because she built the best game ever. And not only is there a terrorist organization trying to kill her for it, but there's another video game organization. I forgot what they were called. It's like Corporal Systems something.
Cortical Systematics.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they like took Ian Holmes' character and made him like he was a double agent. We're probably gonna say that a lot.
Corporate espionage, man, love it.
Yeah, it's like Mission Impossible up in here, and he kidnaps her game and is like, "Hey, if you want your game, like join us." So it's like Sega versus Nintendo or PlayStation versus Xbox, but like to a much higher degree. That like they're killing each other over this.
Listen,
And
you don't know what happens behind closed doors.
Because we do what Nintendo don't.
so you have these three factions. You have Nintendo Research, and then you have, again, Jacob, tell me.
Cortical systematics.
Yes, exactly.
I'm just saying it's so forgettable that we're having to be reminded. Saying.
Shut the fuck up. and then you have the realists, who are just like, we need to protect realism, what we like think, feel, like what we feel is real at all costs, because this is such a danger to our society. And I love that. It's just pretty much the idea of it, and I would so much love to see more. Johnny, but what about you? So, do you want to add to any of this, or do you want to just, I don't know, start a new topic of your own of this movie?
Yeah. I would like to jump in really quick with
Yes.
what I wasn't a giant fan of. I really felt like this film could have been a lot stronger had there been more, I guess, not Easter eggs of any kind necessarily, but some hints of some kind to what the final twist would be, I guess. Well, hell, I mean, you guys hear me talk about that. I don't want it to be obvious in the film, but I do want little droplets here and there of what the final conclusion is going to be. You know, I mean, hell, I mean, Jacob and I argue about this all the time with Hereditary. I didn't like Hereditary's ending because I didn't feel that they gave us enough of clues to actually realize what was going to happen at the end. It just came out of fucking nowhere and really had the potential to be one of the best horror movies ever made, in my opinion. But I feel like this could have kind of done this. That's the topic for another day. It's like argument for another day.
I love how you love to throw this movie into every movie that we cover on this show.
That's not accurate. I don't do it on everyone.
Because
it's not a lot of them.
Strongly disagree with each other's opinions on it.
I don't think they did a very good job of setting up the world. Even with Inception, you kind of had a general idea if it was a second level dream or a third tier dream, or if they weren't, or you had a decent guess. In this one, it was just kind of, I thought I knew, and then at the very end, all that crap happened without giving spoilers away, and I was like, okay, well, I don't know, just left an unfulfilled taste in my mouth. I don't know. I just don't think they did a very good job of setting up the conclusion. I thought they could have been stronger with that. I didn't think the dialogue was super amazing. Like, it wasn't that witty. It wasn't terribly exciting sounding. It was okay. You know, it's a big budget. It was a fairly big budget. I wouldn't say blockbuster, but film. So I just would have expected it to be with that cast, and with it being a Cronenberg film, I expected the dialogue to be a little stronger.
I agree with the dialogue.
Yeah, I don't think we, and you know how big I am on character arcs and development. I don't really think we saw that with anybody on this. Mainly because it's a video game movie. Maybe you don't see that as often with video game films. Yeah. I'm definitely not as much of a connoisseur of those type of movies as you guys are.
Not a real gamer.
No, I am not. I am probably the only person on this panel who is not a real gamer of any kind.
I'm not a gamer.
Okay, sure, Daniel. Yeah, no, I mean that it was the script and the dialogue were my two biggest problems with it. Everything else was solid. I told you I love the SFX on this. I thought the SFX team and any Cronenberg movie, they're always really good. Even his ones that aren't body horror kind of stuff.
Dude, wait till you see. Sorry to interrupt, but wait till you see Videodrome. There's
you haven't seen Videodrome? Holy shit! You are in for a treat.
Bree, does it surprise you that I haven't seen Videodrome?
Yes.
James Woods has a chest vagina.
Okay.
I'm
I mean,
just saying it's sorry.
it sounds
Hot.
interesting. I mean,
It's so hot.
It's good.
you know, it's a
well,
hot commodity. It's a hot take.
I have to disagree with you on the leading up to the reveal at the end. You said that there's no anything that like hints to that. Or
No, I said it wasn't obvious enough. I didn't say there wasn't.
oh, okay. Yeah, that okay. I in one hand I agree with you, in another hand I don't. This is the kind of movie, especially for the 90s. They did this a lot, like with like Fight Club and stuff. You need to watch the movie twice. And I know that you just saw this movie for the first time last night.
Yeah.
Jacob, you last night you watched this movie for the second time. Did you pick up on things that you did the first time?
Oh yeah, just like with Fight Club and The Matrix, it's just like, oh yeah, now I know which reality is which. It's like it's fun to see all the little context clues here and there, and like a lot of dialogue just seems a little off kilter to sort of lean into which reality is which, but not to the same degree as Fight Club, I think, because Fincher was really good at doing like the whole subliminal messaging and stuff, and then but. Yeah, I thought it was good in that regard to an extent. Yeah.
What would you like when you watched it for the second time? Were you like picking up on the clues that this was actually the game the whole time?
Oh yeah, for sure. And then also just trying to also going back to like the very end and deciphering if that's actually like their reality. Because it's like there's so many things there, like the dog having a fake jacket. You're just like, this is still the game, but they're also using real guns, and it's like, okay, is it not the game? And the dog just like randomly picking up the bone gun, running away, and it's like, oh yeah, that's their dog. That stuff like that.
That's a big clue right there.
Yeah, the NPC quests and stuff like that.
Yeah, like how the dog keeps grabbing the gun and bringing it to somebody.
Well, I mean, even the very beginning, like when the bone gun shows up, you already know it's the game. It's like
yeah.
But
I mean, you don't know that the first time. The first time,
right?
You're like,
but the second time, you're like,
what
oh,
is
this is
that?
obviously the gaming reality because that kid brings in the bone gun and just kills that dude.
Yeah, and then so like the dog keeps bringing him the gun, and then at the end, when they're in real life, or so we think.
Yeah, that was loud. Whoever cracked a beer, like echo in my ear. All five of us at once.
Yeah. So the dog brings them the beer.
It's all right, Daniel. Let me add to that.
I want a dog to bring me a beer.
Oh, it is loud. Wow, I'll have to.
I put that right by my mic for you, Daniel, to make you feel less awkward.
I didn't put mine anywhere near the mic. I have no idea why that happened.
It's all right. I got you.
You just got good microphones. It's all right.
The dog keeps bringing people the gun, and then at the end, what during
the dog just wants
the gun. The dog brings them the gun, and so it's like that, which is cool for two things. One is that it shows how much of this game is influenced by the user and like their intentions, their thoughts, and everything. They're like, okay, we plan to assassinate this game developer, and so the game is influenced on the person being the game developer being murdered, and so they're like, as soon as we're done, the dog is going to bring us some guns, and so that's a reoccurring theme in this game, which is a reoccurring hint. So I really like that. So it's pretty much, if you watch the movie a few times, you kind of pick up on that, and you're like, okay, this actually all the boxes are checked. Like all the things that you think don't make sense actually do make sense now. So Bree and Johnny, I would definitely invite you to watch the movie again and then see if you have a difference of opinion.
I guarantee you, I'm still not.
Equal
Makes
I
sense.
do want to add a note to that with we brought up cheesy dialogue and cheesy characters and stuff before, but thematically throughout the movie, the reoccurring tropes that are brought up all lead to the end. The whole infection thing that keeps being brought up, they mention at the end that this video game is an infection on people and reality, and that's part of their speech, is that they had to play the game to see it. You're truly amazing, and you're truly distorting and infecting reality with your views, and that's why you have to die. And it just sort of helps go all the way back to the beginning and sort of bring in those ties and why it is that they're just hammering these from the start. If it's viewing your thoughts and doing things and pulling all of your personality into it, having these two assassins inside of the game with their toxic thoughts, it makes so weird in the movie, and it kind of makes a whole lot of sense. And I kind of appreciate that. Like all the grotesque, all the weird, all of it is it just goes back to their toxic thoughts. So
I'm just saying, they still say, ghosts don't see what they want to see in The Sixth Sense, and I still fucking hate it. I understand it, but I still fucking hate it.
Oh yeah,
that's okay.
I cannot argue with whether or not you like or dislike a movie.
Yeah,
no,
I will argue that I
I'm
like
just saying.
One of us.
Bree, let me ask you, what if you were in charge of fixing this movie? How would you? What changes would you make to it to make it something that you would enjoy?
Ooh, that's the hard part. Is I don't know if I could fully enjoy this. Even if I updated the special effects, even if I updated the dialogue. Again, I think it's the issue that I saw it so much later than you guys. I'm so used to these video games twist and turn. I'm so used to The Sixth Sense. I'm so used to M. Night Shyamalan. That's the issue. Is again, I think it was revolutionary for the time, but no offense, I'm younger than you guys.
Yeah.
I just don't think there is the issue of fixing it because people, my age and younger are just used to these plot twists.
That
Don't get
does
me
make
wrong.
a lot of sense. I was definitely like a dumbass 13 or 14-year-old when I first saw this, and I was like, "This is amazing."
It's not
I was
like
a fucking
you being
idiot.
a dumbass. It's not being you a dumbass or naive. It's just
I was.
it's a different time. It's a different time. Again, it's I grew up on M. Night Shyamalan.
No, you do make a good point. Absolutely. So would it be fair to say that you would probably take away all the the twists at the end, oh, this is still a game, what would make you enjoy a movie like this about virtual reality video gaming?
Okay. Ooh, that's a hard one. I think if everybody was playing people that they made their avatar to be, there's like a 2-foot pink-haired dwarf,
So you would
make it a
Ready Player
true
One.
video game. No. Don't get me wrong. I did not like Ready Player One. I'm just saying, I think you can take that, but
Thank you
add
so
the
much for
Cronenberg element. I like Cronenberg. I like the body horror. I think you can do a lot with that. Take it fucking Second Life, but add the body horror to it. I think you can still take the same thing, take away the whole twists and turns, add more body horror to it. I liked that. I liked the body horror of it, the fucking frogs that are still in their egg sacs. I liked that a lot. It's just it's so hard to explain. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's just saying I don't enjoy it because I'm not used to the twist. I'm used to the twists and turns that you guys weren't used to. That's the difficult part, is trying to take the subjective element and separating it from the objective element.
That makes sense.
Here.
No, that's totally fair.
You think you would have liked it had you seen it at an earlier age before you?
I think I would have. That's the thing. I think, objectively speaking, I would have liked it if I were earlier. If I didn't play Star Wars: The Old Republic, if I didn't watch Inception, if I didn't watch M. Night Shyamalan. That's the issue.
So I've got a
Yeah.
follow-up question for Bree then on that same topic. I want you to go one step further with that. I'm curious, what was your eXistenZ then? What was the movie that you saw when you were young and impressionable and hadn't seen something like this before, that you saw the first time you're like, wow, all those twists and turns, they're doing this perfectly, that you still look back on now, and now you're eye-rolly about other movies that have done it because you saw that first movie that did it the right way, like we had. For
And
Ian
what
and I, at
and
least.
was it Inception?
So that is a super good question. I don't mean to hog this episode. It's just I happen to
No,
have
I
that.
mean,
Fascinating us right
Um,
now.
but
Generational view on it. You saw all of these other movies that took elements from it, and you know what? They maybe have done it better because they've had a chance to take a look at it, and time gives you a chance to adjust things. There's new views on old movies.
So I mentioned Blade Runner before, but it actually wasn't a movie. It was actually a video game. I brought up Star Wars: The Old Republic. Since I'm a video game channel, I've loved video games my entire life. I live for them. The reason I bring up Star Wars: The Old Republic, I mean, it's been like over 20 years. I can give a spoiler. So you're playing as like this Jedi. You are representing the light side, everything like that, and then you're hunting down a Sith called Revan, and then you find out all along you've been Revan the entire time. And I thought that was like the biggest
I honestly
twist.
didn't know that.
I'm sorry.
Spoilers.
To find out that you were Revan this entire time, that was like the biggest plot twist.
That
Or
is pretty cool.
Bioshock.
God,
Bioshock was an excellent plot twist. I'm like, holy shit. Every time that, you're getting commanded to do all these horrific things, murder your father with a fucking golf club. Things like that. I was like, oh shit. And The Thing, you're trying to figure, if we're getting into movies, decided to bring up The
Yeah,
Thing,
for sure. No, absolutely.
reference your old, the old podcast.
Well, say what's on your mind. Absolutely.
To bring up The Thing, your old podcast, you're trying to guess who is truly the Thing at this point. You're left guessing. Is it McCready? Is it, the scientist? Everything like that. I think Jacob brought up the very good point. If I hadn't seen this before, I would have been impressed. But since I just saw this last night, that's my issue.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fair. So also a follow-up question. You mentioned earlier you weren't into the whole like espionage, everybody's a double agent.
Yes.
So at what point did you start to say this is bullshit?
That had to be
I
pretty
think the
early.
minute that he, that Allegra figured out that he was the double agent, when he pointed the gun at her and he was
In
like,
the Chinese restaurant?
death
Grabs
to
the ball of soup.
Allegra. And I'm like, all right, this is so obvious.
I agree. I thought that the movie could very, very easily go again without that part. Just that
Yes.
part of him pointing a gun to her, and then he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, let me kill the Chinese waiter instead." But then it
Yeah.
turns out that it was good that they killed the Chinese waiter because that was their target. So it's like they should have just done that. But what about like that part where they killed the Chinese waiter, but they shouldn't have. Like one guy, you have like on one side you have one guy who's just like, okay, we see where your loyalties are now. Like you did what we wanted you to do. That was a test. And then you have another guy who's like, you shouldn't have done that because he was on our side. And then you have two people who are on two different sides. They're like pulling you one way or the other. Like, do you want to be with the realists or do you want to be with the people who developed these video games? And it turns out that both guys are on the opposite sides. And then you just don't know where you are. Like, I think this would be a great video game itself, which I think, Daniel, you proposed that question.
Yeah.
But Bree, what did you think about that? Where it's more of where it leads into the plot, not the plot of the movie, but the plot of the game that they're playing.
Sorry, it's been done before. I mean,
but it
okay,
hasn't.
I keep bringing up.
This is the
No,
first
no, no,
time
no.
they did it.
Okay. Well, like, okay, in the 1990s, it's like the first time been done. But I hate keep bringing up the Star Wars,
No,
because
no,
obviously it
it's-
does not fit the cult trash and horror movie.
No, it's
giant,
fine. It's
but,
fine. No, like,
like, even if you play
this is your
Star
background.
Wars: The Old Republic, the MMO, if you play the double agent storyline, you're a double agent, but then this person's a double agent, and then this double agent crosses you, who's a double agent, but then you're a double agent for this double. I guess I'm just so used to the
It's just
trope.
okay. That's
also
fair.
like
No,
James
that-
Bond movies too. There's like so many people betraying other people who are like, oh,
Yeah.
Sean Bean's the bad guy.
Yeah, that and like I
And
said,
he
Mission
hasn't been
Impossible,
killed
right?
yet.
Jacob, how about you? How did you feel about all that? Everything
Like-
I just said.
Oh, okay. Going back, what did you say exactly?
I said so you're at the Chinese restaurant and
Oh.
he's your target, and
Right.
then you have to
So-
kill that guy, and then but it turns out he's the guy you need to meet up. He's your contact, and then whatnot.
And then he pulls out the gun. Yeah, I actually love that scene. I actually like him pointing the gun at Allegra, because going back to what Daniel's saying, it's like they're toxic influences they're bringing in, and like it's how those characters are changing. And to like Allegra's advantage, his influences on wanting to kill the creator of the game, like come out, and that gives her the like immediate advantage, because he wasn't really sure that he actually even did what he did out of like who he is, or if it was the character. So I like that kind of stuff. And then also, yeah, like him killing the Chinese waiter, and then like the NPCs like are just like stuck. They don't know what to do. It's like Cyberpunk or something. It's just like they're so non-reactive. And then when Jude Law is just like, we had a disagreement about the check, just like dumb like one-liners and stuff. And I really enjoyed that scene for what it is.
Yeah, for sure. What about everything else after that? Like the whole like what I was talking about earlier with there's all the three different factions that are like betraying each other and trying to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that kind of goes into why I enjoyed this movie for its absurdity, because it just kept adding layers upon layers upon layers to the point where it was actually just comedic. And at that point, that's where it felt like
I always laugh at the end where it's like, this is the game, right?
Yeah, and it's like I feel like the movie doesn't take itself as seriously as I feel like most other directors or writers would. Like I feel like Inception is so self-serious. It's just it can be like overbearing at times. While this, it's just like it's comical. All the things that are happening. I mean, Jude Law's accent itself is also comical, so it's like you got to factor
everybody's
that in there.
accent.
Everyone's accent. I love how Ian Holmes pointed that out at the end. He's just like,
Yes.
"What the hell is with my accent?" While Jude Law still has his American accent.
Yeah, so it's like when you're in the game, you like take over this character.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like today when you play a video game and your character has a shitty accent, you're like, oh, that's stupid.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I just found it kind of just an easy breezy ride instead of just like overthinking things at every turn, because I was mostly just kind of enjoying a lot of the mythology they were coming up with the pods switching from mechanical technology to biomechanical. I mean, that was the thing I wanted to know more about. If we were going to go into like things we kind of wish this movie did more of, is like how, like if you were to be injected into a video game and you suddenly accept that consoles like the PlayStation 7 is just going to be like this flesh blob, like at what point is your brain just going to be like, wait, what?
Yeah, and that is unique.
Trout farms, but I mean that's also just Cronenberg just being like, I want to do some crazy stuff.
Being Cronenberg, yeah, exactly.
And then butthole ports, man.
Yeah. Oh, we haven't even gone into that. Shit. Daniel, you said that you and we have both brought this movie to many people. Mm-hmm. You said that you actually buy people copies of this. I've personally shown it to many friends of mine over the like 2 decades. Well, how do people usually respond to this movie or react to it?
I think a lot of people are left a little bit clueless, and so I want to go back to some of the arguments against the movie that I actually think are good things. I am particularly glad that with your forces of good and evil both being relatively neutral, as far as the care level goes into it, I actually think that that's good because this movie is complicated to begin with. I don't think that you need to bog yourself down with details of some war that you are not part of, especially when most of us have a good idea of what existentialism and transcendentalism implies. When we're looking more at our main characters, specifically Allegra and Ted, to see that they're having a whole lot of trouble deciding whether or not they're able to have free will and whether or not it does them any good to have it. By making these nefarious, oh, well, this is the bad guy we think, and then this is the good guy we think, and where do you stand? Like, well, when it's trying to kill Allegra, sure, it seems like that's the bad guy, but does it really matter? We're supposed to be seeing their inner turmoil and their struggle with the real plot, and frankly, to have two warring forces in all of it, their motivation is kind of it's super textbook, and I don't think that you really need an explanation of it to have it be a good movie.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Um,
yeah, I mean, just when I look at the whole thing of it, the reaction that I get is already pretty overwhelmed most of the time, and I always tell people to watch it again, like you do.
uh-huh.
But a lot of times people take Jacob's view of it. They're just like, I just went along for the ride. Like, I didn't know what was going
Yeah.
on, but it was very enjoyable to watch. Like, you've got the Cronin weirdness, you've got the fun tropiness of video games that show up in a movie without it being a video game movie, which, let's face it, in the 90s were all exactly as terrible as you remember. You've got a fun way to express all of these ridiculous tropes that you don't get to play with normally in an enjoyable fashion. And I think it ages particularly well because of that, because we all remember playing games that had these tropes in them, and they still do the same ones.
Too.
Yeah. You brought that up. I thought that was really useful when you're talking about newer games. Like, that is how new games work. You literally will kill somebody right in front of the shop owner, and the shop owner's willing to sell you pots afterwards because that's what his job is. And he's not there to worry.
Yeah.
He's not the police officer.
It's like I was just gonna say this, or I did say this. This movie's kind of like ahead of its time. Where like if you play games like Red Dead Redemption 2, where I mean this is, I mean yeah, it's not quite the same, but like in Red Dead, you could just like do whatever you want, and I mean your actions have consequences, but it's like Red Dead is kind of the closest thing we've really had to a game like eXistenZ or was Transcendence. Before we go on to the next segment with the prompt, does anybody else have anything they'd like to add to this? Johnny, do you have anything?
No, not from what I said earlier.
Okay. Jacob?
Nope.
All right. Cool. Well, the prompts that I usually have, usually I do like a pitch a sequel, prequel, what have you to this. Today is no exception. Pitch a prequel or a sequel to this. Or I mean, I give y'all actually some new prompts, but for now, does anybody have like a prequel or sequel spin on? All right. Here's what I want. Since none of you said yes, I want to see a series, probably on HBO or maybe FX, something like that. Kind of similar to Westworld, where it shows this world and like pretty much remake this as a series, more fleshed out, like hour-long episodes, 10 episodes each, of what like this world is, what this game is, what you see within the game. I want to see more of the factions of the two different companies that are battling each other, and then you have the realist terrorist organizations that are trying to actually kill to preserve humanity, or at least what they think humanity should be. I want to see all of that, and then I want to see multiple seasons. I think that would be amazing, and like to answer all the questions that we have. Like Bree, you said that you agreed with me that we need to see more. Like, would you be happy with that if it was like more fleshed out and it's like it's pretty much this times like 20 basically?
I think I would be happy with the leading up to it, plus, like you said, a little bit of Westworld, a little bit beyond. What are the characters doing within inside this world? So I want a little bit of a prequel, and not necessarily a sequel, but the perspective of other characters.
Just
as
like
well.
yeah, an opening of the world and more character
Exactly.
development. And stuff like that.
Absolutely. And, the perspective of other characters, not just these two, but a little bit more,
Yeah.
What are other people doing inside this world?
Like I would like absolutely love if David Cronenberg got together with what's his name, the creator of Westworld.
Are we talking the original or the new
Jonathan
one?
Nolan.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Chris Nolan's brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you big eXistenZ with Westworld, it would just be phenomenal. Westworld, by the way, is my favorite TV show of all time.
That's fair.
So I also asked the pitch if you could remake the movie, would you make any changes? Would anybody?
Yeah. I was actually thinking, and it's funny that you brought up Jonathan Nolan. I was actually hoping that if a remake was to ever be created, that Chris Nolan would direct it, because I thought that his combination of being honestly psych thriller with alternate realities. You throw a guy in that's done both Inception and Interstellar too, to an extent, kind of follows that same path line.
I think he like wrote it.
And Memento was another one I meant to bring up earlier that I forgot about. Yeah, and so all three of those in general, his directing style is catered to this type of movie, and it would also be cool to see him do a video game movie. It's something that I think he'd knock out of the park. Granted, Jonathan Nolan would need to write the script with him. You guys have been on my show enough where I talk about Tenet and how every time they don't
Chris
write
Nolan's
together.
nothing without Jonathan.
Yeah, exactly.
We all agree.
Yeah.
And also, would you be able to hear the movie?
Probably not. I think he needs to hire a new audio team. That's for sure. A little ADR and music's a little too loud. I would like to see them redo it. As far as the cast goes, Jennifer Jason Leigh's the entire cast was solid, except for Jude Law. I'm an okay Jude Law fan. He's fine. I don't think he's very versatile. It would be nice to see somebody like a Jake Gyllenhaal in this role. If you saw him in Nightcrawler, and then you kind of combine that with just any of his regular roles, like, I don't know, Day After Tomorrow, where he just plays a regular kid. He's versatile enough to where, I think the creepy aspect of him, along with the ability to, I would assume, be able to play a spy, espionage kind of, I think he'd be able to knock that role out of the park too. So I'd like to see a remake with Nolan and Gyllenhaal thrown in.
Nolan's the first person that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so then my other prompt I gave y'all was what classic.
Actually, going back to the sequel prequel spinoff.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know if we were taking turns or not, but it'd be cool if this connected to like a Videodrome cinematic universe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like Videodrome first was using like video cassettes and stuff like that, and then like what if like 10 years later they were trying to use video games to influence people, and then like you could also connect that to Possessor and how they're using mind
exactly
like mind possession and stuff like that. And then it'd be cool to if Cronenberg did more of that. I don't know how Crimes of the Future is going to turn out, but what if Crimes of the Future is just like Cronenberg or Videodrome 3 basically?
Bree, who just stepped out, she'll be back, but she in the chat we're all chatting amongst each other. She brought up Possessor, which is a movie by David Cronenberg's son. What's his name?
Brandon
Cronenberg did a movie called Possessor, which is very similar to eXistenZ, with Jennifer Jason Leigh in it. And the girl, I forgot the actress's name, but the actress who played Mandy in Mandy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I feel bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's too bad Bree stepped out, but like we're talking about
Andrea
it now.
Riseborough.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Andrew Riseborough.
Yeah. It's a similar story to eXistenZ. Yeah, probably Brandon Cronenberg probably loved eXistenZ, so he like wanted to do his own deal a bit.
Yeah.
But yes, you brought up Videodrome, which is very similar to eXistenZ. Not only is the whole reality being shattered through television, but
Corporate
also
taking over your
corporations and
media.
stuff, but also the lines of saying
Death to Videodrome, long live the new flesh.
Yeah, I know. And like, so I saw eXistenZ first, but when I first saw Bree, welcome back, we actually talked about the idea you were talking about in the
Yes,
chat.
so I did have my headset still on. Do not worry, I'm so dedicated that I'm still listening even when
Nice.
I'm on the toilet.
All right, we'll go back to it, but let me finish my thoughts. So yeah, Videodrome. What was I saying? Yeah, so like it's shit. What was I saying?
You were comparing Videodrome to Possessor. You were talking about the similarities.
Well,
and
to
the fact-
eXistenZ more really, but yeah, it's a similar thing, and they say the same things. Oh yeah, so like I saw eXistenZ first, then when I saw Videodrome, and especially when they're saying death to Videodrome, long live the flesh, I was just like, that's eXistenZ. Is eXistenZ a sequel? And then Jacob,
Don't forget the flesh gun too.
Yeah, and he takes a gun out of his chest vagina. So Jacob and Bree, did you think? I mean, Jacob, you just brought it up, so I guess you thought about it. Bree, did you get that?
Yes.
Daniel, have you seen Videodrome?
I have, but it's been some time. I had a
Okay.
Blockbuster
Well, we'll definitely
membership.
do it.
Rewatch it.
I'll bring you all again when we do Videodrome. I'll try.
That'd be great.
That kind of
Same
stuff.
crew.
But anyway, Bree, since you want, I mean, we're going off topic a little bit, but you wanted to bring up Possessor earlier. So, apart from what you heard already, is there anything else you'd like to bring up about it?
No, I think, this is his son's first foray into his father's legacy. I thought it wasn't necessarily revolutionary, right? I mean, if you want to make the argument that David Cronenberg wasn't necessarily revolutionary in the fact that Fly was the original movie, but then he took it and then added a body horror element. Yes, he's great to the body horror element, but nothing that he wrote and directed was anything brand new.
I'll agree with that.
I'm very interested to see what Brandon Cronenberg does. I want to see if he branches into his own. I did like Possessor. It wasn't anything new, just kind of like what we were talking about in the chat. I'm interested to see where he goes, though. I did like Possessor, so I hope that he keeps directing something new, and I'm interested to see what his next movie will be.
Cool. Yeah, me too. I'm sure we all probably agree with that, as well as David Cronenberg's new movie coming out. What's it called? The Crimes of Tomorrow or the Future. Yes,
which is a remake of his first movie. Well, I don't know if they.
Oh, is it?
It's a remake.
He's remaking his own movie.
Oh,
that's funny.
Yeah. It was like his very, very first short film. Let me make sure, so I'm not talking out of my ass.
Okay. While you look that up, Daniel, do you have anything for going back to the prompt that we have about remake or sequel or prequel or anything?
Yes, I actually do. It's funny because we mentioned a little bit about the Matrix.
Second film, sorry.
Okay.
1970. Sorry, Daniel. Go ahead.
It's okay. I tried really hard not to interrupt anybody because I get super excited about this movie. But yeah, I actually really like. I like what they did with the original Matrix to sort of give you a little bit of more view into the universe by doing the Animatrix, and I've noticed that there's more people picking up on that right now. We've got we've got Diabolical that's out currently on Amazon.
That's the
and,
boys, right?
Yeah, and so they're looking a little bit more deep into it, and I feel like video games, comic books, stuff like that are ripe to go ahead and do something of an anthology that bridges gaps. And I feel like eXistenZ could both do a short episodes, individual TV episodes. You could make them 15 minutes, you could make them 20, you could make them 30, to tell stories about Allegra Geller and all the bullshit that happened leading up to her becoming a hunted woman and best video game designer in the world. You could go with any of the characters that we like in it. We like somebody like Gas, but if you've got a figure that Gas
like him
was
playing
using,
Art God or something.
yeah, like
Sorry to
him
interrupt.
becoming obsessed with it. Obviously, the person that was plugged into that bioport was super duper obsessed with game design too, but on like a like to a fanatic level, like super person. And he has some really great lines, of course, with it. Things like, I used to be a gas station attendant. Like, you're still a gas station attendant, like only on the most pathetic level of reality or of existence.
Yeah,
like
I love how psychotic that guy was.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, it's Willem Dafoe. It's just him playing himself. They let him come on and say whatever he wanted.
Him or Christopher Walken.
Bree, I want to know from you. What did you think of Gas, the Willem Dafoe's character?
Really, sorry, I kind of spaced there for a moment. I was.
Yeah, I mean, you were really focused on what you didn't like
yeah.
about all the others.
Solid notes looking over.
Right.
I was having some issues with the camera and
oh, that's okay.
some audio issues, so I did kind of space.
I could tell
sound
that
a little
you
different.
changed the angle of your camera a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like I had to do a lot of stuff. That's one reason.
That's
why
all
I had
right.
to disconnect
But do you remember in eXistenZ the part with Willem Dafoe's part?
Vaguely. I really can't say that.
I feel like you didn't even watch this movie at all.
I did. It's just been quite a while.
We
night.
thought that you had said it had
you
been
said
several
you said
hours. Didn't you watch it immediately before this? Or?
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah.
Why are you lying to us, Bree? Like, what's going on?
Bree, did you love or hate this movie? We gotta know.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the movie. I really did enjoy the movie.
Interesting.
Okay.
That's
All right.
good to know.
We're
We're all
glad
in
that we turned you
agreement.
around.
It's good to know that this.
You were
yeah.
talking about how much you hated it.
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah. Oddly enough. Strange how
I
these
feel like
things
I'm
work
being
out.
I feel like I'm being picked on because I had some technical issues here.
I mean, a little bit.
Just a tad.
But all right. So what did you enjoy about it?
It's really just how Willem Dafoe is always able to capture his character
That's true.
really without a hint of an issue that you can really see.
Right.
Going from character to character. They're all unique. They all have their own type of psychology that just breaks down into this is a real person. This is a real character that I can either relate to or that I can understand.
And there we
That
have
makes
it.
sense.
Literally, you can describe absolutely any movie by describing exactly one good actor in it and how they do every movie. It's perfect.
Excellent kayfabe.
I can't disagree.
Perfect cover up.
Yeah. No, I agree. Would you make a sequel or a prequel to this movie?
Me personally, absolutely. I would love to see how a lot more of these characters would come into depth. I would love to see more character development, as a lot of people would, a lot more questions answered.
Okay.
Very well.
Yeah.
Put.
Yeah.
Did
no,
you like how a
absolutely.
portal opened up at the end and he donned a Green Goblin costume?
I did.
I thought that was
We all like that
Joker the
part
whole
too. It was
time.
really
Shit.
good.
You
Yeah.
get my comic universes mixed up.
I'm sorry, my phone is blowing up.
Oh, that's okay. I'll move on to the next segment. So I asked all of y'all another question, which was so if you take a classic video game that does exist in our reality, what game would you like to play in this world of eXistenZ? Does anybody have? Well, for me, I'll go first. I would love to play GTA in this, like
That'd be
full.
so cool. Yeah.
They
Right?
made that
Watching
movie.
GTA.
Oh, I mean, yeah, they did make that movie. Yeah, it was
Free
what?
Guy.
Free Guy,
Good guy.
but it was that movie was absolutely terrible.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty fun.
Free Guy.
It
Free Guy was
was-
great. That was a
It was
fantastic.
Yeah.
fun. It was not great. It was not.
Yes,
Yes,
it
it
was.
was.
It was fun.
It was
I think
great.
it was pretty
It
good.
was. Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was hilarious.
It was stupid.
Free
The
cap,
all right. The special
It's a
effects
comedy.
were
Also very clever.
amazing. Special effects were amazing, but just like it was so just like basic, like the existentialism. Oh, we lost Bree. Probably dealing with that. You know what she was saying about the. Oh wait, she's back.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
There was a. Sorry, I lagged a little bit, but I'm back.
It's okay.
Good.
That's no
It's
problem.
good to know that you love this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't know you were lying to us for the first like half
Yeah.
hour. So
Sorry, that was
You hated it.
it was
Did-
just a
did-
glitch. It
Did
was
you
a
want to
glitch.
continue what you were talking about before?
Yeah, how much I hate this movie.
Oh,
I
yeah, that's
dislike
right.
it.
Oh,
Sorry.
right.
Yeah,
I forget
yeah,
which
yeah.
reality we're in right now.
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, there's just layers upon layers.
Turns out we're
Layers.
actually still in the intro.
Oh,
So let's roll that trailer.
damn it.
So good. This is so good.
Anyway, Bree, what's a real game that exists that you would love to like if eXistenZ or Transcendence was a real thing? What game would you like to play?
okay. This is like super embarrassing to admit, but like in high school and middle school and like even like late elementary school, I had like such addiction to RuneScape. Back when old school RuneScape was the original RuneScape. Yeah, I think I would have a lot of fun with that just because there's still some really good role playing opportunities, but not like so far because in the fact you're still kind of not sidelined, but like hard lined in, hey, you're gonna do this, but it feels like the illusion of choice. But you still gotta like kind of have like a little variance, but not a lot. I think that would be a lot of fun, honestly. Plus, I mean, it does include a lot of like the animal killing. Like I remember leveling up by killing cows, like right outside the main city. So I think that would be the perfect opportunity. Gets a little bit of Cronenberg, killing animals, making them
Yeah, of
into
course.
materials, of course. You get the illusion of choice while progressing the plot. I think that'd be perfect.
Okay, cool. You know what? I said GTA earlier, and like that would be the perfect game. Also, Sonic the Hedgehog would be pretty dope.
Okay.
Just like speeding around, like going around loops.
Around at the speed of sound.
By the way, has anybody seen the new movie yet?
Mm-mm.
I kind of feel like I want to watch it because I was a big Sonic fan when I was a kid. Like the first movie, like I don't care about at all, but the second one, with like Tails and Knuckles, actually looks kind of cool. Does anybody else have addition to this, or should I go to the next prompt?
I do, and
All
I
right.
want to actually insert myself here, just because you happen to mention Sonic, which has a new movie out.
Yes.
I want to do one, but I want to do one for my own personal, like horror and upset nature in it, which would be Super Mario Brothers, but the Super Mario Brothers universe of the movie.
Yeah.
And like suddenly show up there and just be like, oh no, I don't like that.
I want to be
at
John
all.
Leguizamo. Hell yeah.
No, you show up there and just be like, oh god, this is terrible.
All this fun.
Everything's terrible here. I don't want to be in this movie. I don't want to be in this video game. Definitely.
Dude, you could go into a level where you're in the elevator with all the Goombas, and you're like, yeah, your mission is to make them dance.
Or maybe you have to go into the boom boom room and seduce a busty lady, like every 8-year-old dreams of doing.
Yeah.
To get her necklace.
But no, that would be cool. Like you could like jump on the trampoline like fungus shit.
Well, I don't completely hate it. Yeah, no, like it would be a fun adventure, but it would also just be like, okay, I'm very much done with this. Like I could walk away, so I wouldn't hate it. For like, okay, I'm not gonna waste my life on this, but like I'll do this for an hour every day, maybe. Who knows? It'll take a long time to beat the game, but I would be kind of tickled just to see that as an option. Just, oh man, this is gonna be really eye rolly, really grindy, and I'm probably still gonna have a pretty good time doing it. So yeah, I would like to see that one.
What would be a game that would be terrible in the eXistenZ/Transcendence world?
I'd like to go ahead and propose Super Mario Brothers as proposed by the movie version of Super Mario Brothers for the exact same reasons that I said I would enjoy it. Like, I also don't think I'd ever finish it or really play that often. I think it'd be one of those games I buy and I'm like, I've got stuff to do.
Going back to Bree's show, This Is Where You Die.
Yeah.
Would any of y'all like want to play like a horror game?
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like Silent Hill.
That's
or
what
something.
I was gonna say. Was like,
Left 4 Dead.
Maybe Left 4 Dead, but honestly, a game that came out pretty recently. I mean, within the last 3 years or so, that very much reminds me of this is Death Stranding, Hideo Kojima's game. Because you're even attaching an umbilical cord to your body and bridging yourself with a bridge baby, and you're also fighting like Cthulhu Lovecraftian beings called BTs. And if you are killed, your body becomes an atom bomb and destroys everything within like a 10-mile radius. It's like a whole post-apocalyptic FedEx delivery service video game. That would be kind of cool. Also, like Silent Hill, Resident Evil Village for sure. Like, give me Resident Evil anything in this world, and I'd be in.
Just running around killing zombies and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Death Stranding has that all-star cast, just like eXistenZ does. Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
got Norman Reedus.
On par. Norman Reedus. You got Mads Mikkelsen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's up there for sure.
And it's also, I was going to say, like, I feel like eXistenZ isn't up its own ass as much as Death Stranding. Death Stranding is very pretentious and thinks it's like way cleverer than it actually is.
I mean,
it's still fun.
It's Kojima, for sure. But I mean, we're getting off topic for sure.
One of the first twisters.
Well, yeah. Let me go into the last prompt I had, which was if you could make your own original video game within eXistenZ and/or Transcendence. Does anybody have like an idea for your own movie or not movie? Sorry, a game.
Jurassic Park.
Well, that wouldn't be original.
That's not very original.
But give me any sort of like
Donkey Kong.
Like give me like
Donkey Kong would be pretty tight.
Prehistoric planet.
Jumping over barrels and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean that Adam Sandler one? Pixels.
Into that.
Another great movie.
Johnny, you haven't brought anything to the table. Do you have any idea for
games? I was about to say, did you listen to what I said earlier? Of course I didn't come to the table with it. I don't play video games.
Live action Jenga.
Yeah, there you go. I play live action Jenga. Play some beer pong. What if we did existential? Excuse me. What if we did existence inside the world of beer pong? But we use water pong instead. And everyone's sober the whole time. That sounds like insanely fun. That sounds great. Everyone can just be like me at a party. 20 drunk motherfuckers, and I'm the only guy there, more sober than a saint on Christmas. I don't fucking know.
That's pretty damn sober.
Yeah, it is. No, I don't have any ideas for games on this.
You got no games whatsoever.
Okay. Right. I'd love to play eXistenZ in the world of Madden. There we go.
Okay, cool.
Ian, the games that I play are literally Madden and NBA 2K. That's what I
Okay,
play. I don't
cool.
play anything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah,
Well, I
dude,
play
that
company
would be
heroes, I
cool.
guess.
Like playing NBA and shit, and then like
Actually,
eXistenZ.
I
Just
gotta
pause the
run
game.
with
eXistenZ
Johnny's
is
thing.
paused.
I
20,000.
gotta run with Johnny's idea here. Could you imagine fantasy football if you were actually able to just do that, but like as the game itself? That would be kind of cool.
Right.
Like you just go
That
out
would
there
be
with your
cool.
buddies. You
I
go
would
out
play
there, you
that,
choose
yeah.
players. You actually get to watch them play the game called the shots. Like
Yeah.
that would be pretty entertaining. I'm not a big sports fan, but I would really like doing that. That'd be crazy.
Because you get a
if you
shit
like,
ton of money.
upgrades
Yeah.
and- well, no, but also
League
imagine doing
for a new
upgrades and
season.
stuff. Like you can have a dragon on your team. You can go ahead and
Just Fortnite.
bring in upgrades like guns. I don't know. You could do anything with it. That'd be
Suddenly
crazy.
sports got
Be the new
great
Blitz.
again.
Real fantasy, like, oh yeah, that's a red mage, so he's gonna shoot a fireball at you and also heal up the quarterback. So don't screw with him.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
gotta have our supports, our tanks, ourselves.
and then bring in cheat codes, so you're like,
I would 100%
Yeah.
play existential.
Bring in your bring in your
fantasy
Game
football.
Shark. You know that's
yeah.
relevant,
I was
right?
saying,
Kids
we
still
just-
use Game Sharks, right?
Oh
Okay.
shit!
Not
No.
anymore.
But imagine like
For
Mortal
Rumble packs?
Kombat now. Mortal
Oh,
Kombat.
God.
would be-
Mortal
wait,
Kombat
they
doing this
did
would be
that.
fun.
That
That'd be dope.
they did that in Black Mirror, so it pretty
I
much
was about to
just
say-
we'd all just end up like banning each other.
It would just become Ready Player One. It's like everything in our childhoods in one fucking
Oh,
bowl.
yeah. I mean, like PlayStation 4 is doing that right now as we speak, bringing back all the old games. You know, eXistenZ would bring in all the old games. Well, all right. I think that's enough bullshit for.
I'm just
for
saying,
one
sorry.
episode.
One
ahead.
more part. Everything that y'all talking about, Saints Row. I'm just saying.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I
Yeah.
said GTA
Yeah.
earlier, so
I'm
yeah.
just saying, Saints Row brings in, the seriousness of GTA, but then the bullshit of everything else. It's
Yeah.
the perfect
Best
combo.
character creator out there.
Oh my god!
Oh
yeah.
it is.
For
Yeah,
sure,
it
for sure.
absolutely is the best. Yes, you could like, yeah, make your character like literally anything you want in Saints Row.
Yep.
Cool. Does anybody have anything else before we rate this?
Nope.
All right,
Nice.
cool. Well, yeah. So since we're somewhat mixed in this, well, I'm gonna have us like go whoever liked it and then disliked it. So I'll go first. I love this movie. I wish there could be more. Like I'm not fulfilled. I'm still hungry after watching this. This movie definitely leaves me like it's just like an appetizer. I want more. But I still like. I really enjoy the idea that proposes, and I've shown it to many of my friends. Like I said, so I will rate this 8 Jude Laws who are afraid of their body being penetrated. Now, to go to the opposite of me, or Bree, what do you rate this?
Ooh. Like I said, I'm not a fan. You brought up the fact that I'm on the opposite end, so I'm so glad that the second comes best here. Honestly, didn't like it. At this point, just because I'm part of the younger generation, it's nothing
Yeah,
new.
I mean, you brought up
Yeah.
very good points.
Yeah.
Like, nothing that you said were I could argue with, or I thought like you don't know what you're talking about, except for that one weird time that like you fixed your mic and then you came back and then all of a sudden you liked it. I don't know
No,
what
it's
that
just
was
glitch.
about.
It was the second, the second layer of me.
It's an
the
impressive
fact
glitch.
that
Very
You
realistic.
went and shaved too.
Yeah.
Really quick.
Yeah, let your hair grow out a little bit. You dyed it.
I grew a beard.
Yeah.
The beard I've
Yeah.
always wanted.
Yeah,
Um,
but you only wanted it for 5 minutes, so that,
just
It's like Saints Row all over again.
yeah, for sure. My accent even changed from game to game.
That'll happen.
Yeah, just like you said. I've already said my piece. I'm not a fan. I will always be a Cronenberg fan, just not a fan of this. And so for that, I will give it a 4 spores that come from the burning ashes of my hopes and dreams.
Nice.
Very nice.
That was great. Jacob.
Oh yeah, I mean, this movie's just a good time for me. Pretty solid. I didn't really have any sort of like major detriments, but like you, it's like I kind of just want a little more. But I also just love how subdued it was for your stereotypical like Cronenberg feature, and especially in comparison to like the blockbusters like The Matrix and Fight Club and stuff. I would give it like 8 porthole lickings out of 10.
Nice. All right, Johnny.
Yeah, I mean, you know me from what I just said earlier. It was solid. It was a solid movie. I didn't love it. Definitely didn't hate it.
We were definitely making fun of it a lot last night.
We were, yeah. You and I in particular were, yeah. We were especially before Jacob got there. We were cheesing pretty hard. It's definitely. I think with such a strong cast like they had, with a director like Cronenberg, who obviously does a lot of the body horror stuff that you guys talk about loving and stuff, but he also does regular psych thrillers and dramas. I talked about Eastern Promises and History of Violence earlier, which are both like Oscar-worthy contenders. Like they're both very, very well done films. I would have thought the script for this would have been stronger. Honestly, I thought the dialogue would have been a bit more concise, a bit wittier. And that bothered me a lot. There was just something I felt like it was missing. Once again, still enjoyed the majority of it. But I'd honestly be right on line with IMDb. I know that's very rare for me to agree with critics, but I'd say 6.5 NPCs that unfairly get killed every single time anybody plays a D&D campaign or a video game like this.
It's also fair.
I mean, the Chinese waiter, he's this nice dude who like brings them the special, and they fuck his face up with shooting teeth into his cheeks. Yeah, I mean, I felt so bad for him.
That's still fair. I still call that fair.
But it was still entertaining. Still had an entertaining time watching it. So
awesome.
So would you say that the rest of the party is a bunch of murder hobos?
I would have to.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Sorry, guys. All the murder hobos are here.
And finally, Daniel.
I adore this movie. I really enjoy watching it. I quote it fairly often. Definitely.
I would love to be around you when you quote it.
When people bring me bad news, I definitely do the death to the demon/demoness and state their full name. I also really like when someone's not paying attention to me. I like to repeat what I say using their full name in a sentence with the same cadence as Ted Michael does. Like, sorry, Ian Webb. I would like to know what your opinion is on this movie.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's great for that sort of thing. This movie has more characters in it that I know the first and last name of than any other movie that I've ever watched. It's 5 total characters that I know. I'm sure there's going to be more by the time I'm done rewatching it another 20 times. But yeah, I really loved it. It has fun and weird mixed into one with a certain amount of gross and a good amount of nonsense that I really appreciate that goes across both video games and movie. So I'd like to give this a 9.5 out of 10. That is 9 with the second N being capitalized, point with the N capitalized also. But then 10, it's got the T capitalized.
Nice. Nice.
Perfect.
Yes.
All right. Spell it.
Cool. Well, yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself.
And you won't.
Yeah. Sure. Well, yeah, so that's
the show.
That's the show.
Or is it?
Or yeah,
is it?
Is there another episode?
There's an intimacy involved in playing eXistenZ.
Cat.
The fact that the intimacy is removing a bullet from her shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so many
marriage.
things we didn't go into.
So much. Pages.
Like, we went deep. We definitely went right into the deep end and didn't even bother with the
touch on
shallow
army
shit.
guy at the end who just shows up with a machine gun and just shoots everything.
Yeah.
That's how you definitely know it's a game where they're just shooting that fucking.
Yeah.
True. True.
But yeah, that'll do it for this episode of Cold Trash Horror Movie Grind. Thank you, especially Bree, but also Johnny, for your polarizing opinions. Like I enjoy it. I want more episodes where we can disagree, but still have a good discussion.
I
That
definitely
was
agree
so
with
much
that.
fun.
I can
Yes.
disagree with you on every episode moving forward if you like. So
I-
mental note made.
I'm sure. I mean, you have for the most part already. So
Not recently, but yeah, overall that's for sure.
yeah. Well, although you did enjoy Swamp Zombies too, which was your first episode. on here.
I like the Spine of Night from last week. That was
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's good. That's
No,
good.
yeah. I was really surprised by that too.
great. Yeah, me too actually.
All right. Well, I will go ahead and do the sneak peek of next week's
10 Angry Men.
episode, which
12
is
Angry.
right. Did you say 12 Angry Men?
Yeah.
Yes, 12 Angry Men. And here's a clip of 12 Angry Men right.
That's why wrestling is so great.
True. Wait,
Yes.
WWE
That is They Live. I do have a completely full group of people for that movie already.
Killing me, Ian.
I know you all love it.
That one hurts, dude.
I am bringing in like someone who's never seen it before, so I was gonna ask, like,
a good reason.
how do you feel watching this movie now? What I could do, maybe I could review that movie with that panel, and then bring y'all for another panel.
Oh, cool.
We
With the
could
second
review this
panel.
movie twice. That is a possibility.
It's a movie good enough to warrant 2 reviews, I would say.
True.
Yeah.
Especially
All right.
Jacob and I were Carpenter fans. You gotta.
Yeah.
Exactly. There you go. You gotta be
Yeah.
I was so upset. I realized I was muted throughout the entire first half of that.
Oh, I was wondering why you weren't chiming in with
talking-
anything. I was like, what's
Yeah, I
Jacob
was
saying
like-
anything?
I was like, what?
Why are they ignoring me?
I was like, damn it.
All right. Well, we'll see. I can see about reviewing this twice. Yeah, with a different panel.
Let's all do it without Ian. How about that? That's
Ooh,
That'd
yeah.
be fun. What a great
I'll
idea.
just be over here. Just be
Ian's an NPC.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you
We'll
could-
unjustly,
you could do it
we'll
like
unjustly kill him.
or like a
Yeah.
memorial montage. We each just give like our 30 seconds. Just like, oh god, yeah, They Live was such a great movie. I miss it so much. I wish it would come back.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we'll all right. I'll officially invite you all back for They Live Part 2.
Woo.
Nobody has ever given me so much shit for showing the movie and be like, all right, you can't be
That's
part
such
of this.
That's such a team.
That is such a tease.
Bullshit.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to agree with Jacob on this one.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll do that in a couple of weeks. So next week, look for They Live with a completely different panel, and then a week after that, look forward to this same panel with They Live again. Well, just don't say anything that we talked about the week before. All right. Be sure to check out Bree's new show. This Is Where You Die.
Yes, please do.
Yes.
Check out Jacob's new old show.
Jacob's new old show.
Jacob and Reese versus Evil. It's also about horror movies in general. Check out Johnny's show. I Don't Give a Flick. And check out Daniel on this show.
It's the only place I go.
Yeah. And yeah, so that'll do it for this episode. Thanks everybody for watching. And we'll see you next week for They Live.
See you later.